The girl saw them before they saw her. Two people, dressed in black, standing in front of a grave like the world had ended and nobody told the sky to stop. They weren't loud, not dramatic, just broken. The woman knelt first, slow, careful, like her knees might shatter if she moved too fast. Her hands trembled as she placed white lilies on the cold stone. The man stood behind her, stiff, silent, his face locked tight like he had forgotten how to breathe. The wind moved. Leaves scraped against the ground. No one spoke. From behind a tree, the girl watched. Small, thin, invisible, Mia. Her jacket hung loose on her shoulders, torn at the sleeves. Her fingers were dirty, her hair tangled. She had learned how to disappear in places like this. Cemeteries were quiet. People didn't look for the living here. But something pulled her closer, one step, then another. She moved through the shadows, slow, careful, until she could see the photograph on the headstone. And then everything stopped. Her breath caught. Her body went cold. The boy in the picture, smiling in a red hoodie, bright eyes, that small gap between his teeth. She knew that face. She knew it. Not from a memory. Not from a dream. From yesterday. From the street. From cold ground under the old bridge where he slept beside her, curled into himself, whispering in his sleep. Mia stepped forward before she could stop herself. "Excuse me," she said, her voice barely there. The woman looked up, eyes red, face wet, annoyed, confused. "Please," the woman whispered, tired. Not now, but Mia didn't look at her. She pointed at the grave, at the boy. "That boy," she said, her voice shaking, breaking, trying to hold something too big. He lives on the street with me." Silence, deep, heavy, crushing. The man turned slowly, his face drained. "What did you say?" Mia swallowed hard, her hands trembling now. "That boy," she repeated, softer this time, like saying it louder might make it disappear. "He's not dead." A pause, a long one. "Then he's alive." Adrian Cole built his life from nothing. Nothing but cold mornings, empty pockets, and a promise he never said out loud. He was 45 now, tall, sharp, untouchable. People knew his name before they met his face. Reed Towers, Cole Logistics, glass buildings that touched the sky, trucks that crossed the country like veins carrying money instead of blood. Magazines called him the man who rose from the streets. They liked that story. They didn't know the rest. He wore suits that never wrinkled, shoes that reflected light like mirrors, a watch that cost more than most people's homes. When he walked into a room, voices lowered. When he spoke, people listened. That was power, and he had all of it. But not the one thing that mattered. Not anymore. 5 years ago, something disappeared from his life. Not money, not status. His son, Ethan, 8 years old, always moving, always laughing. The kind of child who filled a room just by breathing. Gone, just gone. No goodbye, no warning. Just silence. Since that day, Adrian stopped smiling, not slowly, not over time, all at once. At home, the mansion felt too big, too quiet. 12 bedrooms, but no sound. His wife, Lena, moved through the halls like a shadow. She used to laugh, used to sing in the kitchen, used to dance with their son when the radio played something soft. Now she barely spoke. They ate dinner across from each other. No words, no eye contact, just the sound of silver touching plates. At night, they lay in the same bed, but miles apart. The only place they still felt the same thing was the cemetery. That cold stone, that photograph, that lie they buried. Adrian stood there now behind his wife, staring at the name carved into marble. Ethan Cole, beloved son, forever ate, forever loved. He clenched his jaw. Because love was still there, but the boy was gone. Or at least that's what the world told him to believe. Ethan Cole was never a quiet child. He ran, he laughed. He asked questions that never ended. Why is the sky blue? Where do birds go when it rains? Can I have ice cream for breakfast? That last one always made them laugh, every single time. He rode his yellow bicycle around the yard like it was the most important mission in the world. Fast. Too fast. Lena would call after him from the kitchen window. Slow down. He never did. Prince, their golden retriever, chased him in circles, barking like it was a game only they understood. It was loud. It was messy. It was life. And then it wasn't. It was a Tuesday. Ordinary, quiet, safe. Ethan was in the backyard. The sun was soft, the air still. Lena stepped inside. Just 10 minutes, just a phone call. That's all it took. When she came back, the yard was empty. No laughter, no running, no boy. The bicycle lay on its side in the grass, one wheel still spinning slowly. The back gate was open, and Ethan gone. Just gone. The world didn't make sense after that. Police came, dogs barking, helicopters cut to the sky open. Neighbors called his name into the woods. Ethan! Ethan! Nothing answered back. Adrian offered a reward, $1 million. Find my son. Bring him home. Days passed, then weeks. Hope started to crack. 3 weeks later, they found a body in a river 50 miles away. The water had taken everything. The face gone. Unrecognizable. But the clothes matched. The size matched. The age matched. DNA was tested. 85%. Not certain. Not enough. But they closed the case anyway. Sometimes, the detective said quietly, you have to accept the truth. Truth. Adrian hated that word. They buried a closed coffin. No one looked inside. No one could. Lena stood there, unmoving. Because deep inside, she felt it. Something wasn't right. Something was still missing. And it wasn't just her son. Every first Sunday, they went back. Same time, same car, same silence. 9 in the morning, Adrian started the engine. The black car moved through the empty streets like it had done this 100 times before. Lena sat beside him, holding a bouquet of white lilies in her lap. Her fingers wrapped tight around the stems. She never looked at him. He never looked at her. No music, no words, just the quiet hum of the road. At 9:30, they arrived. Same spot, same path. Gravel crunching under their shoes. Left turn, then right, then straight. Like a ritual, like something they could not break. They stopped at the stone bench in front of the grave. Ethan's grave. Lena knelt down first, always first. She placed the lilies into the holder, adjusting them slowly, carefully, like she was fixing something that could still be fixed. Her hand reached out, touched the photo. Soft, gentle, like she was touching his face again. Hi, baby, she whispered. Her voice cracked, but she kept going. Mommy's here. A pause. Daddy's here, too. Behind her, Adrian stood still. Hands in his coat pockets, jaw tight. He didn't speak, not here, but the tears came anyway, slow at first, then steady. This was the only place he let them fall. In meetings, he was strong. At home, controlled. But here, he broke, every time. Lena kept talking about the weather, about the house, about nothing and everything, like he could hear her. Like he was just late, not gone, never gone. 'Cause deep inside, in a place no one could touch, she didn't believe it. Not fully, not completely. People said it was grief, denial, a phase. She needs to let go. She needs to accept it. But Lena didn't. She couldn't. Because something inside her refused. A quiet voice. A stubborn, painful truth. He's not dead. He's still out there. Somewhere, waiting, calling. And every month she came back to that grave hoping it would answer her. It never did. Mia learned how to disappear. Not in a magical way. In a survival way. She moved between shadows. Stayed quiet, kept her head down. People looked past her like she didn't exist. That was safer. She was 11 years old, thin, too thin. Her jacket was too big, sleeves hanging past her hands, torn at the edges, found in a dumpster behind a grocery store 3 months ago. Her jeans had holes at both knees. Her shoes had no laces, but she still wore them, still walked, still survived. Her hair was dark and tangled, falling into her eyes. Her face carried dirt that never fully washed away. Her fingernails were black with grime. No one had cleaned her in a long time. No one had held her in even longer. She slept wherever the night allowed her to. Under bridges, behind old buildings, in corners where no one cared enough to look, sometimes in the cemetery. It was quiet there. Too quiet for most people. But for Mia, quiet meant safe. No shouting, no chasing, no older kids trying to take what little she had. Just wind and stone. And names carved into things that didn't move. But Mia wasn't alone. Not really. She had the other kids. Smaller ones. Younger ones. The ones who cried at night. The ones who didn't know how to fight. She shared her food with them. Protected them. Watched over them while they slept. They called her big sister. She never asked them to. But she didn't stop them either, because someone had to be something, and she chose to be that, even if she had nothing. even if she was nothing. That morning, she woke up in the old maintenance shed at the edge of the cemetery, cold, hungry, her stomach tight. Then she heard it. Car doors, heavy, clean, expensive. Not like the ones she knew. She peeked through the cracked wood. A black car, shiny, perfect, and two people stepped out. Rich. You could tell from the way they walked, from the way their clothes didn't wrinkle, from the way the world seemed to make space for them. Mia stayed still. They wouldn't see her. They never did. But something pulled her forward. Curiosity, or maybe something else. She stepped out of the shed, slow, careful, and followed them into the rows of graves, watching, waiting, not knowing she was about to change everything. Mia didn't mean to step out. Her feet just moved. One step, then another. Closer, closer to the grave, closer to the truth she didn't understand yet. Her eyes stayed locked on the photograph. That face, that smile, she had seen it covered in dirt, wrapped in a torn blanket, shivering in the cold under the bridge. Not clean, not bright, not dead. Her hands began to shake. Her breath came fast, too fast. "Excuse me," she whispered. The woman looked up, eyes red, face tired. For a second, she just stared at Mia like she was something strange, something unwanted. "Please," the woman said, her voice low, worn. "Not now." But Mia didn't stop. She couldn't. Her finger lifted, pointed at the headstone. "At him," she said. Her voice broke. The boy in the picture, the man turned now. Slow, his eyes sharp, cold, guarded. "You need to leave," he said. Short, firm, final. Mia swallowed, but her body refused to move. Because what she knew didn't make sense, and what she was about to say would break everything. "He's alive," she said. Silence. Heavy. The wind stopped again. The man took a step forward. "What did you say?" Mia's voice trembled harder now. "That boy," she repeated, pointing again, like she needed them to see what she saw. "He sleeps under the bridge on Martin Street." The woman's face changed. Confusion first, then something sharper. Anger. "That's not funny," she said. "It's not a game. I'm not joking." Mia rushed, shaking her head fast. "I see him every day." The man's eyes narrowed. People had lied before, many times. For money, for attention, for cruelty. "This ends now," he said quietly. "Walk away." But Mia took a breath, deep, shaking, and stepped closer. "He limps," she said. "His left leg, sometimes when he's tired." The man froze, just for a second. Then Mia touched her own chin, and he has a scar here. A small curve, like a half moon. The world tilted, because that scar was never on the news, never in any report. No one knew, except family. The man's face went pale. His voice cracked. "How? Do you know that?" Mia looked at him, eyes wide. "Honest, because I see it every day." Mia dropped to her knees without thinking. Small, careful, trying not to scare them. "He doesn't talk much," she said, her voice softer now. "The boy, we call him Jay." The woman's breath caught. "Jay?" she whispered, like the name hurt. Mia nodded. "He won't tell us his real name. He says he can't remember." Silence, the kind that pressed against your chest. The man leaned forward slightly. "Tell me everything," he said. Not loud, but urgent. Mia swallowed. "He showed up about 2 years ago," she said, alone, crying. "He didn't know where he came from. Just lost." The woman made a sound. Low, broken. Mia kept going. "At night, when he thinks no one hears him, he cries." A pause, and he calls for his mama. The woman's hands flew to her mouth. Tears spilled over again. "What does he say?" she whispered. Mia looked down for a second, then back up. "Mama, where are you? I want to go home." The words hung in the air, sharp, real. The woman shook, her whole body trembling now. "What else?" the man demanded. Mia closed her eyes, thinking hard. "He draws," she said. "In the dirt, with sticks." "Draws what houses, flowers, and a dog?" The woman gasped. "A dog?" Mia nodded quickly. "Always the same dog, big, soft." "He told me he used to have one, but he can't remember its name." The woman broke. "Prince," she sobbed. His name was Prince. The man looked at her, then back at Mia. "Anything else?" he said, his voice tight. Mia hesitated, then nodded slowly. "He hums a song," she said. "A song?" "Yeah, I asked him once. He said his mom used to sing it to him when it storms." The woman froze, completely still. Then she started to sing, soft, shaking. "Hush now, baby, don't you cry." Maya's eyes widened instantly. "That's it," she said, almost shouting. "That's the song." The woman kept singing, her voice breaking with every word. The thunder's just the angels bowling. Maya felt chills run through her entire body. That's his song, she whispered. He hums it every night. The man staggered back a step, like something invisible hit him. Because this was no longer a story, no longer a coincidence. This was truth, and it was coming for them fast. The car moved fast, too fast for the quiet they had just left behind. Adrian's hands gripped the wheel tight, white. Lena turned in her seat, eyes locked on Mia in the back. "Where is he?" she asked. Her voice wasn't soft anymore. It was sharp, urgent, alive. "Under the old railroad bridge," Mia said quickly. "On Martin Street. That's where we stayed during the day." Adrian didn't answer. He just pressed harder on the gas. The city changed as they drove. Glass towers faded, clean streets cracked, the air felt heavier, trash gathered in corners. Windows broke, walls wore graffiti like scars. This was Mia's world, and now it was Ethan's too. Lena stared out the window, her breath caught. Her son here, sleeping in the cold? Hungry? Alone? "No," she whispered. No, turn here," Mia said, pointing. The bridge came into view. Us, steel, dark shadows underneath. Adrian parked hard. The engine barely stopped before Lena opened the door. "Wait," Adrian said. "Let me call No." She turned to him, eyes burning. "If my son is under that bridge, I'm going to him." She didn't wait. She ran. Mia followed close behind. Adrian stood still for 1 second. Just one. Then he ran too. Under the bridge, the world felt colder. People moved in the shadows. Cardboard beds, small fires, quiet eyes watching. "Jay," Mia called. No answer. She moved faster, checking corners, behind boxes, near the walls. "Jay." Nothing. Her heart started racing. Too fast. "He's always here," she said. "He doesn't leave without telling me." An old woman near a fire looked up. "Haven't seen him since this morning," she said. Mia froze. "This morning?" The woman shrugged. "He just walked off." Lena's knees weakened. So close. So close, and gone again. Adrian stepped forward. Where else would he go? Mia shook her head fast, thinking. The soup kitchen sometimes, or the park, but only during the day. She stopped. Something flickered in her eyes. "A man," she said suddenly. Adrian's head snapped toward her. "What man?" Mia hesitated, then spoke slower. He wore a nice suit. Didn't belong there. He was asking questions about Jay. Lena felt the air shift. Cold, wrong. "What did he say?" Adrian asked. Mia's voice dropped. He said, "This boy isn't supposed to exist." Silence fell again, but this time it wasn't grief. It was fear. Adrian didn't move, not at first. The words stayed in the air. This boy isn't supposed to exist. He had heard something like that before, not out loud, but hidden, buried, forgotten. Now it was back, sharp, real. "Tell me about the man," Adrian said, his voice low. "Dangerous." Mia swallowed. He was older. "Clean, like you," she said, pointing slightly. "Gray hair on the sides, and a ring." "What kind of ring?" Adrian asked. Mia lifted her hand, drawing a shape in the air. Gold, big, with a red stone. Adrian's chest tightened, a sudden violent pressure, because he knew that ring. He knew it too well. Victor Hale, his best friend, his partner, his brother once. Adrian stepped back, just one step, but it felt like the ground moved. "No," Lena whispered. "No, not him." Adrian didn't answer, because his mind was already moving, fast. 5 years ago, the day Ethan disappeared, Victor had been there, helping, always helping, organizing search teams, talking to police, standing beside them at the funeral, saying all the right things. Too right, too perfect. "He pushed us to close the case," Adrian said slowly. Lena looked at him. "What?" "He told us to accept it, to move on." Her face changed, confusion turning into something darker. "No, yes," Adrian said. "And the DNA, it wasn't certain." 85%, Lena whispered. "Not enough, never enough." Adrian's hands clenched. "Who benefits if Ethan is gone?" Lena shook her head. "I don't understand, but Adrian did. 5 years ago, he had forced Victor out of the company. A fight. Ugly. Final. Victor lost everything. Money, power, future. And 3 months later, Ethan disappeared." Lena covered her mouth. "No, you think?" Adrian nodded. Slow, heavy. "I think he took our son." The words felt unreal, like saying them might break something inside him, but they were already broken. Mia stood there, silent, listening, trying to understand a world that had always been far from hers. "So that man," she said quietly, "he's the one looking for Jay?" Adrian looked at her, eyes cold now, focused. I think he lost him, he said. And now he's trying to find him again. Lena's breath hitched. Why? Adrian didn't blink to erase him. Silence. Deep, terrifying. Because now this wasn't just about finding a boy. It was about saving him. Before someone else did. Victor Hale arrived exactly at 9 in the morning. Right on time, like always. His car rolled up the long driveway, smooth and quiet. Silver, clean, perfect. Adrian watched from the window. Still, silent, waiting. Victor stepped out, adjusting his suit gray, sharp, controlled, the kind of man who never looked out of place. The gold ring caught the light, red stone, same ring. Adrian's jaw tightened. The doorbell rang, once, then again. Adrian opened the door himself. Victor smiled, stepping forward. It's been too long, brother. Brother, the word felt wrong now. Come in, Adrian said, flat, cold. Victor stepped inside, looking around like nothing had changed. Beautiful as always, he said lightly. Where's Lena? Inside, Adrian replied. Sit. They walked into the living room, big windows, soft light, everything calm, too calm. Victor sat down first, relaxed, confident. You sounded urgent, he said. What's going on? Adrian didn't sit. He stayed standing, looking down. I'm going to ask you something, he said. A pause, and I need the truth. Victor smiled slightly. Of course. Adrian's voice dropped. 5 years ago, did you take my son? Silence. Victor blinked, just once. Then he laughed, soft, confused. What? Adrian didn't move. Did you take Ethan? Victor stood up now. His face changed, hurt, angry. How can you even say that? He snapped. I helped you. I was there for you. Sit down. Adrian's voice cut through the room. Sharp, heavy. Victor froze. Then slowly he sat again. I'm asking one more time, Adrian said. His hands clenched at his sides. Did you take my son? Footsteps, soft, behind them. Lena walked in, and beside her Mia. Small, quiet, watching. Victor turned. His eyes landed on the girl, and for a second, just 1 second, everything broke. His face went pale. His breath caught. Fear, real fear. Who is this? He asked, but his voice wasn't steady anymore. Lena stepped forward. This is Mia, she said, cold, sharp. Do you recognize him? She asked the girl. Mia looked straight at Victor, at the suit, at the ring, at the face she remembered. That's him, she said. Quiet, certain, the man from the shelter. Victor stood up fast. I don't know what this is, but I'm leaving. Sit down. Adrian's voice was louder now, like thunder. Victor stopped because he knew it was over. I know everything, Adrian said, step by step, closing in. The fake foster agency, the burned records, the money, all of it. Victor's shoulders dropped, slowly, like something inside him gave up. You took my son, Adrian said, his voice barely a whisper now. You faked his death. Silence. Then Victor closed his eyes and nodded. Rain started before they reached the dock. Soft at first, then heavier, cold drops hitting metal, water pooling under their feet. Mia ran ahead. Jay, she shouted. Her voice broke through the sound of the rain. No answer. Just wind, just waves hitting the edge of the old wood. Jay! She moved faster, slipping between rusted containers, her heart pounding too loud in her ears. Then she heard it. Faint, almost nothing, a sound, humming, soft, broken, familiar. Mia froze, her breath caught. That's him, she whispered. She followed the sound, step by step, until she reached a narrow space between two containers. And there a boy, curled into himself, thin, too thin, wrapped in a dirty plastic sheet, shivering, his hair long and tangled, his face bruised, a fresh cut above his eyebrows still bleeding. But it was him. It was Jay. Jay, Mia whispered. The boy looked up slowly, eyes dull, lost. Then Amy, his voice barely there. I'm here, she said quickly. I'm right here. Footsteps pounded behind her. Lena came first. She saw him, and everything stopped. Her knees gave out. She dropped into the mud. Ethan, she breathed. The boy looked at her. Confused, afraid. He didn't know her, not yet. Lena's lips trembled. Then she started to sing. Soft, broken. Hush now, baby, don't you cry. The rain fell harder. The thunder's just the angels bowling. The boy went still, completely still. His lips moved, slow, uncertain. Raindrops are the angels' tears. His voice shook, washing away all your fears. Silence. Then, Mama, the words shattered everything. Lena crawled forward, reaching for him. Yes, baby, yes, it's me. Her hands touched his face, cold, real. Ethan stared at her, Tears filled his eyes. Then he broke, completely. He fell into her arms, crying, shaking. I tried to find you, he whispered. I tried, but I couldn't remember. I know, she sobbed. I know. Adrian reached them next. He dropped her to his knees. Ethan, he said. The boy looked up, eyes wide. Dad, yes, son, Adrian whispered. It's Dad. Ethan reached out, touching his face, like checking if he was real. I thought I lost you, he said. Adrian pulled him closer. No, he said firmly. We found you. The rain kept falling, but none of them moved. Because after 5 years, they were finally together again. The house felt different when they came back. Not bigger, not quieter, warmer. Ethan stood at the door, staring at the blue paint like it was something from a dream. I know this, he whispered. Lena squeezed his hand. This is home. He stepped inside slowly, each step careful, like the floor might disappear if he moved too fast. His room was the same. Nothing changed. Toys on the shelf, books by the bed. The blanket still folded the way it used to be. He touched everything, slow, unsure, like touching memories that didn't fully belong to him yet. I used to live here, he said softly. You still do, Adrian replied. That night, Ethan didn't sleep long. He woke up screaming, breathing fast, eyes wide, lost again. I'm sorry, he cried. I thought I was back there. Lena held him tight. You're home, she whispered. You're safe, again and again. Healing didn't come all at once. It came in pieces, small ones. Mia visited every day. She sat beside him when the world felt too big, when the memories hurt, when silence felt too loud. You're not alone, she told him. Never again. Weeks passed. Then months. Adrian changed too. The man who built buildings started building something else. A place for kids like Mia. A place for kids like Ethan. Warm beds, food, safety, a second chance. You helped me survive, Ethan told Mia one day. You're my family. Mia smiled. You're both, she said. Past and present. They returned to the cemetery once more, all together. Ethan stood in front of the grave, his name carved into stone. A life that wasn't his. Not me, he said quietly. Lena reached out and removed the photo. You don't belong here. They walked away, not running, not looking back. The sun broke through the clouds, soft, warm, and for the first time in 5 years, they didn't feel empty. They felt whole. Not perfect, still healing, still learning how to breathe again, but together, and that was enough. Because sometimes love comes back, and when it does, it brings everything with it.